The Selfish Path to Romance. Download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com.
And right now I'm turning to our After Hours line.
Hi, Dr. Kenner. My name is LaTanya, and I have a question regarding blended families. My daughter's father just recently got married, and me and him had a lot of unfinished business, and it's almost like he wants me to just adapt to the fact that now he's married, and I'm having issues with that, and I don't want it to affect our daughter. So I just wanted to get some insight in terms of how to handle that now that he is now married. And I just feel like that I'm being rushed to just get over it and adapt, and I'm having difficulties with that.
Okay, you have no choice. You are being asked to rush to get over it and adapt. And what's the alternative? To make it hell for you, hell for your daughter, and hell for everyone. You can't do anything. He's already married. If you're really angry with him, then you definitely want to get yourself some psychological help. You want to speak to a therapist. At minimum, at least keep a journal and write down all your thoughts. Hide it. This is not something that you want your daughter or any family member or your husband to find, or you can shred it afterwards so nobody can ever find it. But you need to be able to articulate what precisely that unfinished business is. What is bothering you so much? Is it that he had an affair with this woman and you'll never forgive him and you want to get him back by keeping your daughter away from him? Is it that you still love him? It's that unrequited love, and how dare he marry her when you still want to run into his arms? That you've got to deal with, and you need to deal with it independently. He may or may not be willing to talk with you. Sometimes couples will have a session together. It's very awkward now that he's remarried, but it's your job. It's not his responsibility to deal with your unfinished business. If he's not paying child support, or if there are unfinished loose ends around custody issues, then of course you need to talk about that with him. But you can't. What can you do at this point? It's like you've got to treat your mind well. And once you realize that it's a fact that he's married, then you need to work within those bounds.
And here's a little more from Dr. Kenner.
For a while there, you try kidding yourself that you're going with an unmarried man. Then one day he keeps looking at his watch and asks you if there's any lipstick showing. Then rushes out to catch the 7:14 to White Plains. So you fix yourself a cup of instant coffee, and you sit there by yourself and you think. And it all begins to look so ugly.
And that's from the apartment. It looks so ugly. What looks so ugly? It's the kidding yourself. Yes, she's having an affair. And yes, he's a married man. But the deepest pain is that you've been lying to yourself the whole time. You've been trying to pretend that he'll leave his wife when it hasn't happened. Or you're trying to pretend that he isn't married or the wife doesn't exist. But guess what? Your mind constantly integrates. It constantly is attempting to connect facts to make sense of your world. And if you're working against it, if you're using your mind to disintegrate, to fake reality, to fake facts, to make it seem like that he's a wonderful man and he's not married and there isn't a lot of baggage here, and that you're not making a fool of yourself or spinning your wheels or wasting your romantic life on a man who's unavailable or only half there for you, then you're really self-destructing. So think about that idea of kidding yourself, and you can ask yourself a question as just a quick check. Is there anything that I'm aware of where I'm kidding myself? I'm faking reality. I'm trying to pretend that something is not so because it's very painful to look at, and I don't want to know the truth. People who are overweight do this a lot. They'll say, I want to pretend it's, fat is beautiful. People who are drinking will say, I can hold my drink. So you're kidding yourself. You don't ever want to do that to yourself.
For more Dr. Kenner podcast, go to drkenner.com and please listen to this ad.
Here's an excerpt from The Selfish Path to Romance, the Serious Romance Guidebook by clinical psychologist Dr. Ellen Kenner and co-author Dr. Edwin Locke.
Genuine self-esteem does not depend simply on your practical successes and failures, but on your method of thinking and your choice to act on the basis of your best thinking. It means being in mental focus. You're in charge of whether and how you think. How you think affects the practical outcomes you achieve, but outcomes are not always fully in your control. What's important is that you do what is possible with what is in your control. If you earn your own self-esteem, you make yourself more lovable. And in the end, you'll attract more and better individuals as potential partners.
You can download Chapter 1 for free by going to drkenner.com. And you can buy The Selfish Path to Romance at amazon.com.